The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
Hey guys, as you're filling in, I am Leslie Begin, and I am so excited for those of you committed clients and coaches who are here the night before Thanksgiving. Oh my gosh, I love that you are prioritizing your health and yourself the night before the rest of the country is ready to stuff themselves like a turkey. So welcome to our Habits of Health call. Again, my name is Leslie Begin. I am so excited for tonight. I want to let you know that number one, we are going to start with our Habits of Health call, where we're going to talk about one of the most challenging topics for me, the most challenging element for me, and followed up by an incredible trilogy call. Our trilogy calls are stories that are inspirational, motivational. If you want some inspiration and motivation, stay on after the Habits of Health call, because I have 3 women who have chosen to have incredible breakthroughs in their life as they learned to take care of themselves. They learned that they could help others take care of themselves in a higher capacity. So if you want to be inspired and motivated as you go into tomorrow, stay on for the second call. So again, welcome to our Wednesday night Habits of Health call. My name is Leslie Begin, and I am so excited to meet with you guys tonight. I love being with other men and women who are focused on making their health and themselves a priority. I am a certified health coach with OPTAVIA. You see 2 pictures on the screen. One is of my husband, Trey Begin, who is my partner in life, my partner in parenting, my partner in fun and adventure, and my partner in business. And we do all of that together. And then you see my 6 beautiful daughters. We just had updated pictures taken, but I don't have access to those yet. But that little baby is 1 year old now. And so we've matured a little bit since then. Now tonight, we are dealing with a topic that is a challenge to me in many ways. And I am going to say that if you want to see your life changed, that I'm so excited that you're on tonight. This topic at times was offensive to me. It offended me because there was a lot of truth that resonated. Now this topic is a mountain that I'm climbing. I'm constantly working on overcoming addictive tendencies with food. And so I'm not quite sure why I was chosen for this, but I feel like I'm the perfect candidate to bring this to you. And I have to start by saying, I am not perfect. I'm a person in progress. And so I want to invite you to come to tonight with a progress mentality. I want you to come tonight open and willing to answer some questions with me as we explore a few different things with this. We're going to explore the danger of addictive food. We're going to identify your personal susceptibility to these addictive foods. We're going to reinforce the importance of using the portion control plate system. We're going to talk about other ways to overcome addictive patterns with food. So, who's in? Tell me if you are in tonight to have this real life conversation. The truth is, I wish we were sitting face to face. I wish I could see the whites of your eyeballs while we had this conversation. I wish we were drinking a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and enjoying a fueling, and we could really have an open talk. So as we're discussing this, I want you to have that feel. As I ask you some questions, I want you to have pen and paper in hand. I want you to be ready to honestly answer questions, and anything that's on your heart that you just get this like, oof, that might be me. Or, aha, a light bulb went off. I'm inviting you to write that down. Because a mentor once told me that the dullest pencil is sharper than the sharpest mind. And I have a feeling if you're on here tonight and you're open and curious, you're gonna have some revelations about how your life can potentially change in a major way. So I honestly wanted to come here and read to you a bunch of massive sections out of Dr. A's Habits of Health. If you are a client and you have not bought this new version of Dr. A's Habits of Health, and if you're a coach and you haven't truly taken a headfirst dive into this book, I am begging you to do so. The first element, 1.1, or the first section, 1.1, he talks about how this is not your fault. The fact that you have addictive tendencies toward food, it's not your fault. Many, many years ago, we were foragers. We were people who walked 10 hours a day looking for the next berry bush. And then we ate all the berries on the bush because who knew how long it would be for another berry bush to come. We slept so long during the night because we slept when it was dark. And now we're living in a culture where scientists are creating our food, and marketing departments are deciding, and accounting departments are deciding what lower cost items should go into it. And there's a berry bush on every corner in the form of a fast food restaurant or a grocery store or a gas station, and it's everywhere. It's in the break room at work. It's in the parent or the teacher lounge at school. It is everywhere. So it's not your fault that there's an addiction and an addictive tendency. And this is a legal addiction. This is an addiction where there's no shame attached to it. It's promoted. Nobody at parties or baby showers is saying, man, why are you eating that cupcake? Really, you should not be eating that cupcake. They're saying, why aren't you eating cake? Eat cake, you should eat cake. You're not going out to a restaurant and people are saying, girl, just have a few chips and queso. That's not gonna be a big deal. I mean, that's what they are saying. They're not saying, hey girl, that chips and queso is gonna lead to long-term disease. Is that what you really want? Socially, it is acceptable to be addicted to this food. Culturally, it's acceptable to be addicted to food. We had 2 young men in our community who were close to their families die of heroin overdoses in a very short period of time last year. And there was heartbreak and shame. There was massive heartbreak associated with that. My husband has an alcohol addiction. He's a recovering alcoholic. He's been sober for many years now. But he knows he can never touch that again. And there was some shame attached to that addiction. But food addiction, it's celebrated. It's promoted. It's weird if we don't give in to it. So let's look at the facts that Dr. A presents in this book. But the truth is, I want to go back to that this food addiction is leading to more deaths. And Dr. A talks about this in multiple chapters that he references in Element 16. He talks in depth about this in this book. That heart disease, that heart attacks, strokes, that all of the symptoms that we have, that diabetes, these truly are leading to premature death. And yet we're not looking at it in that sense. We're saying, why aren't you eating this? Why aren't you addicted to this? We are promoting this addiction. So the average American consumes 20 teaspoons of sugar a day. Can you imagine taking a teaspoon? And that's average. That means there are a lot of people who are above average, right? And there are a lot of people below average, sure. But still 26 teaspoons of sugar, and it's hidden in our food. It's not like you're just taking the scoop and putting it all over. It's hidden in our food. And we, on average, as Americans, consume over 156 pounds of refined sugar a year. That's shocking. So I love that the truth is healthy food, the way Dr. A teaches us to eat in here, the way he teaches us to grocery shop and makes it easy in this book, the way he teaches us to make food choices. This leads to radiant health. It stacks the cards in our favor. Even if our genetics are against us, our choices help us to prolong, to live a vibrant, healthy life. Unhealthy food, he has this picture. If you're looking in your life book and in your Dr. A's Habits of Health, you're seeing this picture. Healthy food leads to radiant life. I love that word, radiant, bright and shining. Unhealthy food, chronic poor health. That's why it's important to have this conversation tonight. So he talks in the LifeBook about avoid introducing the ultra refined sugar and flour. And I am using this as a reference, y'all. Because again, I'm not perfect. You've never seen me, if you've watched a training before, use the actual book as the reference. This element I've done 4 times. I did it again today, so that would be the 5th time that I have gone through this element. I am contending for lifelong health. I am contending for radiant health. And I know my cards are not stacked in my favor. So I'm willing to be a learner, to be a student, and I want desperately to overcome my addiction to food. So he explains some of the science in here. We have ultra refined sugars, those 26 teaspoons of sugar that come in a lot of different forms, and flour creates insatiable hunger. Leptin is our hunger suppressant hormone. And what happens is when our blood sugar peaks and our insulin goes up, the amount of insulin our body has to release goes up because our blood sugar peaks because we've introduced sugar into our diet. Our leptin is suppressed. So that hormone, that hunger suppressant hormone is suppressed. And we don't get to feel satiated. Have you ever had that experience? This is the reason you're sitting on the couch at night and you have the glass of wine and a couple of Oreos and you're like, I am starving. Physically, you might not feel starving, but your mind is starving because you have this neurochemical cocktail going on in there where your leptin is not being released in your body. It's being suppressed, so you're never full. You can eat as much white bread or pizza as you want. And you keep going because their hormones are literally changing in your body with the introduction of this food. And then it leads to cravings and addictions. You know, I am reading this. Dr. A said the second problem with refined sugar and flours is they light up the brain just like cocaine and heroin. It is shocking. He has a picture in his book, and I am that nerd. And it shows the brain lit up with sugar and heroin, and it looks exactly the same. Exactly the same. The dopamine that's in our brain that says, I need sugar, I need my fix, I need sugar, I just need a glass of wine, I just need whatever. It is the anticipation of gratification. So it's never, as soon as you eat that Oreo, the dopamine burst happened and it's gone. And it takes a bigger amount of Oreos in order to get that dopamine burst again. We're constantly looking for our next high. And we need more sugar to get it. Has anyone had an experience like that? Because I know I have. And I've recognized, I want to jump ahead. And when you open your LifeBook, page 322 has these questions, but I'm actually just I literally want to go through these questions with you. Because Dr. A did this with his leaders at Sundance when he introduced to a sneak peek. And since then, I have known that this is a battle that I'm going to have to overcome. You're going to either say rarely, occasionally, or daily. So I find it difficult to control how much I eat. Rarely, occasionally, daily. I crash it, and for me, I kind of changed it to sugar. I find it difficult to control how much sugar I eat. I crash in the afternoon and have trouble waking up in the morning. Rarely, occasionally, daily. I have cravings for specific foods. Rarely, occasionally, daily. I suffer from moodiness, headaches, and fogginess. Rarely, occasionally, or daily. I don't know about you, but that like describes who I used to be before I found our program. When I only eat a moderate amount of food, for me that's sugar, I am not satisfied. Rarely, occasionally, daily. I feel guilty after eating. For me, I add sugar. Rarely, occasionally, daily. I spend a considerable amount of time thinking about food or sugar. Rarely, occasionally, daily. I eat even if I'm not hungry because I'm craving that food. Rarely, occasionally, daily. I eat large amounts of sugar or food and feel powerless to stop. Rarely, occasionally, daily. I crave carbs like pasta, bread, white rice, or desserts. Rarely, occasionally, daily. Now, some of you, it was mostly rarely and occasionally. I want you to go ahead and add your dailies together. How many dailies did you have? If you had less than 6, then you have a low susceptibility to food addiction. And I'd ask you to listen to the rest of this and just take it in for somebody else you know and love. Some of you, it's greater than 6 occasionally. If it's greater than 6 rarely, it's low susceptibility to food. If it's greater than 6 occasionally, it's moderate susceptibility. And if it's greater than 6 dailies, you're highly susceptible to having a food addiction. Oh, this was the screen for that. So now I want to talk to you for a few minutes that I have remaining. I have 15 minutes. I saved half the time for you guys. I realize that I remember that when my coach first talked to me about our program, she said, let's get to the middle of the healthy BMI category. We're just gonna exit this share mode for now. Oops, sorry. She said, let's just go ahead and get to the middle of the healthy BMI category. And she said, because if you wanna have like a cookie at Christmas time or something, we wanna make sure that you don't regain all of your weight or go into the overweight category with that one cookie. And I got off the phone and I thought, yeah, that makes sense. I'll go into the middle of the good BMI category. But you know what didn't make sense to me? One cookie. That didn't make sense to me because cookies came in 3s. And usually cookies came in 3s and then I had another 3 on top of it because you can't just add 1, you add 3. And then once I started eating those 3, I thought, oh my gosh, I can't stop eating the cookies. Like the whole row of Oreos was gone, or half the batter was gone from the cookie dough before I even baked the cookies. I doubled the recipe on purpose so that I could eat half the cookie dough. I had a near emotional breakdown at that moment. I remember thinking these thoughts, and I am being so transparent tonight, and it feels very uncomfortable for me. I remember thinking, a life without cookies? What kind of a life is that? A life with cookies? Is that even a life worth living? And I was devastated at the thought of only eating 1 cookie. I literally almost quit before I even started. Because if that was what it was going to take to be a healthy person, I didn't know if I was going to be in on that. Now I recognize, can I be really honest? From the Monday before Halloween, I said, I'm going back on 5-in-1 fully. I still have 20 pounds of baby weight to lose to get to my very healthy weight. I am doing no sugar. And so I did full 5-in-1. 5-in-1 is an amazing gift. It gets us into this place where our blood sugar is balanced. So we have leptin that is not being suppressed. We know when our appetite is we know when we're satiated. Our insulin levels are balanced. I mean, we don't have these peaks and these valleys. We feel amazing because our blood sugar is balanced. And we're not looking for a berry bush everywhere. We're guaranteed to find berry bushes when we look for them now. And so 5-in-1 got me to a great place. Friday and Saturday were really stressful for me. I gave up alcohol a long time ago, almost 5 years ago, and haven't had a drink since. I chose sobriety. But I haven't made a firm decision that I'll no longer eat the toxic food like Dr. A says. He said some of us who are super susceptible to this, just like people have varying degrees of addictive potential to alcohol, the same is true with refined sugar. He says that some of us, because of our susceptibility, need to treat sugar just as if it were cocaine. I really believe I'm probably one of those people, and I haven't firmly made that decision yet. So Friday and Saturday were really stressful. And Sunday, I was like, just one chocolate. I'll just have one chocolate. Everything will feel better after one chocolate. It didn't stop at one. And if I was an alcoholic who said just one shot, I'm just gonna have one shot, I would be on a full out alcohol binge right now. And right now, I am not full out binge of sugar. I've been there before, but I've eaten sugar every day since, and I can't stop thinking about it. And now I know that when I choose to have the cookie, I'm also choosing to obsess over food. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm choosing low energy. I'm choosing to be moody because I'm a dry drunk without my drug of choice if I'm trying to avoid it. I'm choosing to enter into a mental, physical, emotional battle with food. I'm choosing to take up addictive patterns again. I am choosing chains instead of freedom. And I'm saying tonight, I'm inviting you guys to just check yourself, right? I'm choosing to check myself before I wreck myself again. The other thing that I was recognizing, and it was a huge recognition for me, when my husband went through his rock bottom experience, I started reading about addiction and recovery, and he talks, in AA, they talk about a dry drunk. Have you ever heard this term? Somebody who has chosen to give up alcohol because they know it's ruining their life, but they haven't done the heart work in order to, they haven't done the work on themselves, so they're just resisting. They describe a dry drunk with 3 words: restless, irritable, and discontent. And I'd say a lot of people who have a few pounds, or that they're always battling, or 20 pounds or 120 pounds, a lot of us, we're dry drunks just trying to avoid food instead of focusing on what we're creating. And so I recognize when I talk to clients, and I recognize the thoughts in myself, I called my coach crying over s'mores because everyone else at the campfire was eating s'mores. I called her sobbing. She thought somebody was hurt or something bad had happened. I was crying over s'mores. The dry drunk, the person described as a dry drunk, described me without sugar. I was resentful toward my husband for bringing sugar in. He's a type 1 diabetic. He has to have sugar in the house. It's life or death for him. I was angry and negative toward the fact that I had to recover from this. I was a little jealous of friends who could just eat whatever they wanted and stay skinny. I was romanticizing the days when I could just go and eat everything I wanted, whenever I wanted. That was awesome. I romanticized it. I was self-obsessed. I was thinking about myself all the time and my problems with my body all the time. I need freedom from that. And when I choose to get on our program and stay on our amazing program, when I choose to do this work, y'all do the work. You're not going to recover from this addiction without the work. This is our AA Big Book right here. These calls are our AA meetings. Your Facebook community groups, you have no option if you want to recover but to be active members of those. And if you really want to recover, guess what? You better become a coach. Because coaching is the way you sponsor somebody else to recover from their addiction. That is the way that you're going to hold yourself accountable to never fully relapsing again. If you don't coach, if you're not in the community, if you are not doing the work of these books, if you're not focusing on what you're creating instead of what you're resisting, then I can almost guarantee you're gonna slip back down that slope into a full addiction again. So I'm choosing brownies, OPTAVIA brownies. And I'm choosing s'mores, OPTAVIA s'mores. And I'm choosing to have no shame or blame or guilt because I'm a person in progress and I'm not perfect. But I also know I have some hard decisions to make because Dr. A's calling me out and I hear his voice when I'm reading it saying, Leslie, you better start treating this sugar and this refined flour as if it is cocaine. Because if you don't, you're choosing premature death. You're choosing disease. You're choosing bondage over freedom. This was the perfect week for me to do this. And the shame that I used to feel wanted to say, I'm not going to do this call. My husband's a recovering addict. He can do this call. He will lead this from a place of victory. I am leading this call from a place of contending for my health. And I'm inviting you to contend with me. And I want to say that you're worth it. You are made for more than a cycle of defeat. You are made for victory. Some of you, I had notes and I didn't follow them. I even lost my notes. Some of you, literally, here are some steps. Stop, challenge, choose. Okay, I have 3 minutes. Our program makes it simple to set up a structure to retrain your brain, taste buds, and body. This is my favorite thing that's given me the most hope. If you can be addicted, Grant Cardone, he's a business author and speaker, says he looks to hire recovering addicts in his businesses. He looks for people who have a tendency and susceptibility toward addiction. Because if you can be addicted to food, to sugar, if you have a high susceptibility for food addiction, guess what? You can be addicted to success. You can be addicted to health. What you may have thought was once a curse, like I did, it's actually a blessing. It means that you can fully focus on something and be obsessed with it in a healthy way. You can be obsessed. You could read this big book of amazingness by Christmas. You could get obsessed with your health. You can get obsessed with your recovery journey. You can get obsessed and be in your community groups full on fire for getting healthy and staying healthy. You can become a coach and be obsessed with helping others to have the same breakthroughs. You're gonna have to do a few things. You're gonna have to get really good at standing up to yourself and for yourself. Say, no, ma'am. That sugar is just gonna lead you down that path that you hate. Go choose your s'more crunch bar. You're gonna have to be good at saying to other people, guess what? Thank you so much for that opportunity to eat those chips and quesos, but I've got amazing health goals that I am in pursuit of, and I'm so thankful you're gonna be my biggest fan and supporter. Just assume they'll support you. They can't say anything bad at that point. Stand firm in your decisions. Declare them out loud. Declare your goal out loud on social media so the whole world can hold you accountable. So that when you're at the Mexican restaurant, there's no chance you're eating a chimichanga. You are going for the fajitas without the shells, and you're gonna have a whole heck of a lot of lettuce on the side. Declare your goals out loud to your family and friends. Tomorrow, when they come, be like, so thankful you're here. We've got some healthy options and some other. Let's just have an amazing feast. I'm choosing healthy choices. Feel free to hold me accountable to that. If I'm hiding in the pantry, you know why it is. Pull me out, call me out, call me out today. This is gonna be hard, and I'm willing to do hard things because I was made to do hard things. And then find help. Some of us need therapists, bottom line. So many clients I refer to therapy while they're doing our program. Our program is amazing, but your health coach is your cheerleader, not your therapist. And sometimes we need to break off chains, and that requires some therapy. So thank you guys for an intense 30 minutes. I feel so honored that you were here with me tonight. Thank you for allowing me to be honest. Thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable and transparent. I hope for those of you who are on here, you found this valuable. And I would love in the chat for you to share a couple of things that you learned and decisions that you've made. Thank you, guys.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.